Mermaids Don't Date Krakens by Amy Horakami, narrated by Amy Horakami. This is book 1 in the Camp Spellbound series. I pushed down hard on the pedal, my wheels turning on my old white Honda Accord, but I wasn't moving anywhere. The heavy rain this morning made the roads all muddy, and my small car was now stuck. Come on! I slammed my hands against the steering wheel before leaning my head against it, my white blonde hair falling to my face. I took a big breath in, slowly letting it out. Could this day get any worse? I sat back up, brushed my hair out of my eyes, and looked at the clock to see that it read 2:30. I had about 30 minutes until I would be late for my check-in at Spellbound Summer Camp, at least for the counselors who were working there. A groan left my lips. I reached for my cell phone in the passenger seat beside me, but paused. I'm not going to call Dad. I should have taken his offer to use his Jeep for the summer, but I wanted to be independent. I was 20 years old and still at home. This summer was supposed to be a break from my family, especially my older sister, who was as perfect as a mermaid could be. But I couldn't blame her. It was my own fault that I was a failure to my family, a dud. While she was attending the elite school for supernaturals, learning how to harness her voice for healing others, I was a mermaid who couldn't sing on my way to teach others the only thing I knew best: how to swim. Walruses sounded better than me. Believe me, I know. That time we took a family vacation to the Arctic to meet the Northern Mermaid tribe, the walruses even cringed at my voice. I shuddered at the thought. Every mermaid could sing. It was our pride and glory. Our songs weren't just for listening. They had magical abilities attached to them, and just not for catching stray sailors, as the tales may say. Well, maybe the tales aren't wrong. Some mermaids have a talent for hypnosis, and I'm pretty sure if you are lonely enough, you could lull a lover to your doorstep. But I couldn't even do that. It's a good thing they banned that practice years ago and the supernaturals came out of hiding. I had no voice, so no magical abilities. Most importantly, and condemning, I couldn't find my mate. Our voices reached out to the one who completed us, and if I couldn't sing, I'd be lonely forever. I took another deep breath before looking over at the brochure of the camp where I would be a counselor for the next 3 months. That's why I was here, to prove that I didn't need a voice or magical abilities to be someone in this world. I could use what I had, and that was my tail. I was an excellent swimmer. Even without my tail, my body was built for the water. A grin came to my face as I thought about how many races I'd won, even against my own kind. I wouldn't let a little muddy road get me down. I was going to get to camp and rock this summer like never before. I took off my seatbelt and pushed my door open and started to put my leg out when I realized I was wearing flip-flops. I closed my eyes, pushing all negative thoughts from my mind. It's gonna be a great summer, I repeated to myself. I couldn't lose my cool now, but I swear the weather report said sunshine and clear skies today, which is why I kept my hiking boots in the trunk since I like driving barefoot, and flip-flops were easier to slide in and out of. I reached my leg out as far as I could before stepping out of the car and avoiding the murky puddle right outside my door, while also trying to keep my toes from getting muddy, which was useless since my toes immediately slid forward and into the slimy mud. It's fine, I groaned out loud. I'll just wash my feet before checking in and no one will be the wiser. I just had to keep everything else clean. Not that I was fancy in my skinny jeans and white t-shirt with a mermaid on it, but I didn't want to show up covered in mud and have them think I was unprofessional, then send me packing home before I got a chance to prove myself. I carefully walked to the edge of the road so I could stand on the pine needles that had fallen there, so I could see how dire the situation was. My heart sank. My back tires were halfway sunk in the mud. I looked around, but no one was on the road. Then I noticed the skies were darkening again. Please don't rain. I looked up at the sky, then back down at my muddy feet. Then a brilliant idea came to mind. I reached down and grabbed a handful of pine needles by my feet, then threw them out in front of me to make a path back to the car. Maybe if I put pine needles around the wheels, it will provide enough grip to get me out of this situation. I got to work putting pine needles around the wheels, starting at the back. As I was bending down, shoving the pine needles into place under the wheel, I heard the thundering putter of what sounded like a pickup truck. My heart burst that I was about to be saved, and I shot up quickly to see who was behind me. And it backfired. My feet slipped out from under me, and a scream left my lips as my arms flapped out to the side, trying to prevent my fall. My fingers grazed my trunk, but the mud on them prevented me from gripping it. My back hit the ground with a thud, my head whipping back to hit the murky water, which soon engulfed all my hair as it started to sink in the mud. Great. I closed my eyes, tears swelling up and falling out of the corners. I heard someone shouting, but I couldn't hear them. My mind was blurry with what a failure I was. "I gotcha!" came a deep masculine voice. My eyes shot open as a hand reached out to lift me off the ground, and I couldn't believe who my savior was. Chapter 2. The man who was holding me up was tall and masculine, with short dark hair, fair skin, and a smile that would make any girl swoon. That is, if you were into that sort of thing, which I definitely wasn't, especially not him. Because the man who was holding my hand with the other on my back was the son of my family's sworn enemy, the Southern Kraken family, the Tendrils.